Let's talk about debt. For so many of us, it feels like a giant. But how do you actually take it down? Well, today, we're staging the ultimate showdown, pitting two heavyweight strategies against each other to see who comes out on top in the fight to be debt-free.
And this fight is a big deal. Just look at this number from the Federal Reserve. 15.1% of all households in the U.S. have zero or even negative net wealth. That's a huge number of people feeling that financial squeeze, which makes having a rock-solid game plan more important than ever.
But hey, if you're feeling that pressure, here's the good news. There are proven, battle-tested strategies to get you back in control. The only question is, which one is going to be the right one for you? And that brings us to our main event, Meet the Contenders. We're looking at two totally different philosophies, but here's the thing. They're both aiming for the exact same goal, getting you to zero debt. So here they are, side by side. In one corner, you've got the debt avalanche. This is the mathematician's choice. You go after the debts with the highest interest rates first, which on paper saves you the most money. In the other corner, we have the debt snowball. This one is all about psychology. You knock out the smallest debts first to get those quick wins and build momentum. Let's break down the debt snowball. It's actually pretty simple. First, you list out all your debts, smallest to largest. You keep making the minimum payments on everything, but every single extra dollar you have gets thrown at that smallest debt. Then, poof, it's gone. And here's the magic part. You take that entire payment you are making and you roll it onto the next smallest debt. You keep doing that, and that little snowball of a payment just gets bigger and bigger, creating this unstoppable momentum. Now let's flip over to the debt avalanche. You'll see the steps are basically the same, but the strategy is inverted. This time, you list your debts from the highest interest rate down to the lowest. You're still making those minimum payments on everything, but your extra cash, it's all going straight to that high-interest monster of a debt. Once that's paid off, you roll that payment onto the debt with the next highest rate. So you're targeting the most expensive debt first. So, which one wins? Well, that brings us to the verdict. And honestly, this is a classic battle of cold, hard math versus the tricky, powerful human mind. And when you look at the math, it seems pretty clear-cut. A study from James Madison University ran a scenario, and look at the results. The avalanche paid off the debt in 28 months, costing a total $14,000. The snowball took a little longer, 30 months, and cost an extra $1,000. So if we're just talking numbers, the avalanche is the undisputed champ.
So the math is clear, right? Case closed? Well, not so fast.
Because let's be real, personal finance is never just about the numbers. As finance expert Dave Ramsey puts it, getting out of debt is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. People need those quick wins from the snowball method to stay motivated and actually see the journey through to the end. And you know what? That's exactly what the researchers found when they looked at real-world data. Even with the avalanche's mathematical edge, for most people, the snowball method was an incredibly close competitor. Why? Because the best plan on a spreadsheet doesn't matter if you don't stick to it. The best plan is the one you'll actually finish. Okay, so you've used one of these methods to crush your credit cards and personal loans. Awesome. But what about the big one? Let's level up and talk about the largest debt most of us will ever have, the mortgage. The name of the game here is mortgage acceleration. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're just paying off your home loan faster than you have to. The main benefit, and trust me, it is a huge one, is that you slash the total amount of interest you'll pay over the years. And there are some really smart ways to do this. You can make extra payments whenever you get a bonus or a little windfall. A clever trick is switching to bi-weekly payments. You end up making one extra month's payment a year without really feeling it. You could also just bump up your payment a little bit each year. And another great tool is an offset account, where your savings basically work to cancel out interest on your loan. Oh, and here's a simple one. If interest rates drop, just keep paying the same amount you were before. So, how powerful can this be? Well, Suncorp Bank ran an example. On a pretty typical home loan, paying it off in 10 years instead of the standard 30 could save you over $200,000 in interest. Just think about that. That's a life-changing amount of cash. Okay, so this brings us to one last big strategic decision. Once the high-interest debt is gone and you have extra money each month, what do you do with it? Do you pay down that mortgage even faster, or do you start investing it? And this really lays out the trade-offs. Paying extra on your mortgage gives you a guaranteed, totally risk-free return equal to your interest rate. But that money is tied up in your house. Investing, on the other hand, has the potential for much higher returns, but it's not guaranteed, and there's always market risk. The big plus is that your money is a lot easier to access. Psychologically, paying off the house gives you incredible peace of mind. Investing, though, could build much greater long-term wealth if you can stomach the risk.
At the end of the day, there is no single right answer here. The best choice really comes down to you, your mortgage rate, how you feel about risk, and what you're trying to achieve with your money.
So really, this entire conversation comes down to one core idea. The numbers on a spreadsheet might point you in one direction, but our human nature, our need for motivation, for that feeling of security, often points us in a completely different one.
And that leads us to the final and most important question. Now that you know the math and you understand the psychology, what's going to be the right path for your financial freedom?